So, good evening everyone. So, I'm the second reporter about the aspect of gene therapy. So, to my part is the stem cells gene therapy. So, first is what is a stem cells? So, the stem cells are the mother cells that have the potential to become any type of cells in the body. So, one of the main characteristic of the stem cells is their ability to self-renew or multiply while maintaining the potentials to develop into the other types of cells. So, in the other words, the stem cells are the cells that are undifferentiated, meaning they do not have a specific job or a functions. So, while skin cells protect your body, muscle cells can contract, and the nerve cells can send signals. So, the stem cells do not have any specific structures or the functions. So the stem cells do have the potentials to become all other kind of cells in our body. So it become cells of the blood, heart, bones, skin, muscles, brain, among others. So the stem cells researcher are the working hard to find ways in which stem cells to create a new tissue to replace the parts of the organs that are damaged, injury, or disease. To further understand what is the stem cells is, let's have a video clip. So let's watch it.
Whenever there is an injury or a challenge to an organ or tissue, a whole process of renewal takes place in the body to help restore optimal health. Soon after the injury, the affected tissue releases specific compounds that travel through the blood to the bone marrow. When the compounds released by the injured tissue reach the bone marrow, these messengers tell the stem cells in the bone marrow to divide and create new stem cells, which are then released from the bone marrow into the bloodstream. Slowly, the number of stem cells increases in the blood circulation. At the same time, the affected tissue releases another compound called stromal-derived factor 1, or SDF1, that attracts stem cells. As stem cells circulate in the fine blood vessels of the affected tissue and sense the presence of this compound, they stop in the blood flow and migrate into the tissue. Inside the tissue, stem cells slowly migrate to the very site of injury where SDF1 is being secreted. When they reach the site of the injury and come into contact with the damaged tissue, stem cells begin to multiply and then slowly transform into cells of that tissue. Through this process of amplification, one stem cell can become thousands of tissue cells. It is through this natural process of renewal that the body maintains optimal health every day of our lives. StemRegen is a natural product made of plant extracts that have been documented to support the release of stem cells from the bone marrow, thereby increasing the number of circulating stem cells. More stem cells in circulation means that more stem cells are available to participate in the process of tissue repair.
So that is the stem cells is. So let's move on to the stem cells derived from different sources. So the first sources is the embryonic stem cells. The second one is somatic stem cells. So the embryonic stem cells are derived from the 4 or 5-day-old human embryo that is in the blastocyst phase of development. So the embryos are the usually extracts that have been created in the IVF or in vitro fertilization. So the clinics where the several eggs are fertilized in the test tube, then implanted into a woman. So that is the embryonic stem cells. So again, to further understand, let's have a video clip about the embryonic stem cells.
Following fertilization, the developing embryo contains a group of cells known as the inner cell mass that will eventually go on to form all tissues of the body. However, at this early stage of development, these cells have not yet committed to become a specific type of cell and are said to be in an undifferentiated state. If the cells of the inner cell mass are isolated, they can grow indefinitely in a plastic dish and maintain this undifferentiated state. These cells are known as embryonic stem cells, or ES cells. Like cells in a developing embryo, ES cells retain the ability to form any type of cell in the adult body. Thus, ES cells are said to be pluripotent. By studying the signals required to control how ES cells develop into specific cell types, scientists may be able to develop therapies capable of restoring damaged tissues.
So that is the embryonic stem cells is. So the second sources of stem cells is the somatic stem cells. So the somatic stem cells are the exist throughout the body after the embryonic development and are found inside different types of tissue. These stem cells have been found in tissues such as the brain, bone marrow, blood, the blood vessels, skeletal muscles, skin, and the liver. So they remain in the non-dividing stage of for years until they activated by the disease or tissue injury. So to further understand, let's have an example of the embryonic stem cells. So the first examples of the the somatic stem cells is number one. Let's have a tissue repairs and regeneration. So the function is the somatic stem cells are the pivotal for the repair and the regenerations of tissues. So when injury of wear and tear occur, these cells can differentiate into the specific cells type needed to replace damaged or the dead cells. Thereby the facilitating tissue repairs. Example, the hematopoietic stem cells in the bone marrow are constantly regenerate blood cells, ensuring the steady supplies of the red blood cells and the white blood cells and platelets in the bone. So that's the first example. The second example, let's have the response to the injury. So the function is the somatic stem cells can migrate to the sites or damage, proliferate, differentiate to aid the healing process. Example, the neural stem cells in the brain can form new neurons and the glial cells to help repairs the neurological damage following or the injury stroke. That's all on my part, and I hope ma-understand niyo kung unsa ang stem cells and the sources of the stem cells. So, kung na may mga pangutana, please i-PM lang ko na directly para sabtan kung unsa jud ang stem cells. Thank you and God bless.